G-Fest. Thank you for coming, for Shirley. And number two, welcome to the Shin Godzilla. I saw this movie in Japan panel by myself. And I recognize Norman and Lydia back there. They were there with us. We got to see the movie too. It was a lot of fun. If you get a chance to go on a G-Tour, definitely go. It's too much fun, I'm telling you. It is awesome. Okay, folks, what I'm going to start out with first here is basically, I'm going to talk about how we got there and everything. Basically, we signed up for G-Tour. They have a travel agency that put it together for us. Anyway, so basically we hopped on planes from all over many destinations around the world and took off the planes, landed at Narita Airport in Tokyo. And then, of course, we got on the J trains and rode those into where the hotel was for us, which is the Grace Street Hotel in Shinjuku City, Shinjuku, in Tokyo. And basically, the thing about that is it's also known as the Godzilla Hotel, because it's the one that you see the pictures had the big Godzilla head on top, and that was it. What's cool is they have a Toho cinema right next door to it, and so one of the first, and a lot of other shops too, but for the first time I was able to go up to the cinema, see a movie in that theater, and buy all the programs and the Godzilla figures and all that stuff, just walking in, you know, so it was a great feeling just to have it at work, mail order and stuff. But anyway, I digress. Let me get into the movie here a little bit. What's really fun too is since it was the first Godzilla film since Final Wars, Toho went all out in pre-R and stuff. They had, they had statues. You could go to a ceremony in Obadaba. That's where actually the main place is where Godzilla fought Megagearus, the same thing. Anyway, so we went there. They had like a little scavenger hunt, and you got these little basically for stickers, basically. And they had a booklet, and you went around to all the places there, and when you got all of them, you got a little prize. You got a little tiny Shin Godzilla. And they also had like a big 6-foot Shin Godzilla cast of the thing itself, where you go do selfies and all kind of fun stuff like that. They had buses painted with Shin Godzilla on it. They had private planes, Toho's private plane, and Godzilla, Shin Godzilla on it, and posters all around town, even full moving. Advertisements and stuff. They also had these Godzilla, for lack of a better word, I guess they were Godzilla vans or taxis or something like that, and they had all the art all over that too, so they went all out on promoting this film, which worked because it was one of the highest grossing Godzilla films in years. It made a lot of money in Japan. It was several billion yen, basically, so it made like a ton of money. And it was also well received. It won several their version of the Academy Awards there. It won like best special effects, best art direction, best sound, all kinds of stuff. So they really did well with the film. And basically, okay, here's how it was going to go. When we get into to the theater, and we got our tickets, and we were all excited and stuff, we went up to the theater to get in and everything. We got up there, got in line. And what's different about theaters there is a few of the theaters here in the States are similar to this now, but at the time it's totally foreign to me. You go in there and you pick your seat wherever you want to sit and stuff. They give you tickets. It's not like a concert or a play or like a musical event or something like that. So anyway, we got our seats and stuff. And what was really cool is they had these big round cardboard Shin Godzilla popcorn holders. So everybody had to make sure they got one, so they had a little souvenir there and everything, plus cups and whatnot. But it was really fun. And I'll tell you, when that Toho symbol came up there for the very first time, seeing a film like that in Japan, it was just so satisfying. That's about the best way I can put it. And watching the special effects in it, and they also have different theaters. We first saw it in what's called the 4D IMAX, and basically 4D is, of course you have 3D, but 4D is where they try to put you in an immersive environment. Basically they would like spray out, like say it was the ocean, they would spray out like a smell of salty air, so you felt like you were out of the ocean, I guess. But, and all kind of different things. Now, one thing they did do, which was really weird, is whenever they would shoot missiles or rockets at Shin Godzilla, they had these little things in the seat that would like poke you in the rear end. I have no idea how that was supposed to symbolize, unless you were getting hit rear end by little missiles or something. But anyway, that was like one of the strange ones. And of course, they had the big rumble effects like that when you would smash something or crush something, which was kind of cool. It was sort of like the old Cincerama. They used to have it like in the 70s here in the States. Similar, but with a few differences and everything. And it's just so amazing. So when you see that movie, you're just right there. You're like, man, this is incredible. I'm actually in Japan watching a Godzilla film. And we saw it several times while we were there. And plus we went shopping in a lot of cool places too. Got a lot of cool merch. They still have Toys R Us stores over there. I know here in the States, pretty much they're all gone. They had those that are so weird. You just walk into a Toys R Us, they have tons of stuff for sale. But you just walk in there and buy Godzilla figures or what happens to be for sale for the film. So it was cool. It was a very neat rush. And it was just amazing to watch the film. Myself, and I think a lot of the people that were with us, even, and also the Japanese audience, were really, really happy when Godzilla got up there, when he acquired his fourth and final form, and he came into land, and they started shooting him. The helicopter, the attack helicopters, and later the tanks and things, and all the other arsenal they used against him. I'm so happy that they had everything bounced off of it, even the rockets and everything. The only thing that did a little damage to him was when they dropped those bunker buster bombs, the U.S. bomb planes, and they blew off a few pieces of his dorsal spines. Nothing major, but they blew those off. And of course, he quickly regenerated. But yeah, it was just such a great feeling. So, yeah, the indestructible Godzilla's back. Nothing can stop him now. I think it was one of the main complaints I think myself and a lot of other people had about the original first American-made Godzilla, the TriStar movie, was that he got put down by a couple of jets, and that was it. It was like, what happened, kind of thing, right? But it was really satisfying to watch a Japanese Godzilla again get up there and CGI's just blasting as hard as they could on him, and it didn't affect him. I mean, I remember when they hit him with the big rockets and stuff, when they had the big explosions. You saw, if you looked closely, he had a second eyelid that ran up like a crocodile has, and it covered that up and everything. So his eyes were protected from the blast, which is really, really cool. But yeah, it was fascinating. Of course, we stayed for all the credits and listened to the great music they had there and everything. And it was just a really cool thing, very cool thing. Also on the strip, I want to touch on a few other things too. Besides the great shopping we did, the great restaurants, and having a blast doing that, it was so much fun doing that kind of stuff. One of the things was set up at the time for us, which was fantastic, but it was mainly set up through Akira Takarada, who unfortunately is not with us anymore. But yes, indeed, he took it yes, and it was so amazing because he got it set up for us. So because while he was alive, he was a big deal at Toho Studios. He was like one of their legendary stable of actors, which I'm sure he enjoys, the world over and everything. Everybody feels that way about him, but. So he called them up and said, hey, whatever they want to do, let them go do it. So it was really cool. So they gave us a guided tour. We got to look at a lot of stuff. And they could take us to the old prop room where they had like clothes and shoes and all that kind of jazz. Also, they had tons of those little wooden planes that they used in a lot of the kaiju films. They were just tossed up there, Some of them were burned badly because of the explosions when Godzilla or whoever was smashing down. And it was so cool to see that stuff, though. I was like, wow, this is so cool. And we checked all that out. Plus, then we went down, they were getting ready to dismantle the original recording studio there, where Ifukube and all the rest recorded all the soundtracks for all the Godzilla and other kaiju movies. So we got to tour that. That was going to be torn down like in a week or two later. So we took pictures and walked around. That was a really cool thing to see. That's a piece of history because, like I said, all the soundtracks from the 50s, not just Godzilla soundtracks, but everything was recorded in there. The Toho made movies all the way up until later, a little bit later, they started doing digital recording and stuff. So things kind of changed after that. But it was just amazing to walk around there and see the thing and it's small too. The orchestra thing, the area is really small. It's probably not even, basically maybe half as big as this room. And you got to think of all the musicians who were in there and all the sound that came blasting out of there. And of course, Ifukube would have been up there at his podium with his little stick directing. And it was just amazing to see that. So that was a great treasure movie. Also, go on and see the first Godzilla movie in Japan. Other things that are a lot of fun there too is I checked out some of the, of course I had a lot of Japanese food ones there, but also another thing I wanted to check out was see about the Japanese versions of restaurants we had here. So I went to McDonald's, two different ones. One, I had the samurai burger, which is basically a quarter pounder with cheese, but instead of like mustard and ketchup, it has this red pepper sauce on it, which is really hot. But I like really hot stuff, so I was cool with that. I said, man, this is really good. The next thing I went to get at McDonald's a few days later was I got the, what was called the Mega Mac at that time. It was like 4 pieces of meat, 4 pieces of cheese, like a double high Big Mac. It was all squished together. So, but it was cool, so I just wanted to make sure I went to Japan, I had one, so had that and everything. And everything else we went like to Carl's Jr.'s and Burger King and stuff like that. Everything else there was like the same as here, so it was like, okay, whatever, kind of thing. But just wanted to throw that in there. And another thing about shopping, when we were there, we went to a bunch of stores called Mandarake, if you happen to be familiar with them. And there's a big shopping mall there that basically Mandarake owns. It's called Nakano Broadway, and it has like 3 or 4 stories of just shops. A few restaurants, but mainly just toy shops, book shops, that kind of thing. And almost all of it is Godzilla or Kaiju related, so you can just go in there and buy whatever you wanted. Me, I bought a lot of stuff, but I already bought stuff from years past. So what I did was I had to go to the shipping department and pay for my shipping. I had 3 large boxes of stuff I had to ship back home, so I did that and everything, got those taken care of. And, but it was so much fun, guys. I'm just telling you, there's so much fun stuff. And since we've been there, there's even more fun stuff to see. There's that big Godzilla on the island over there. There's a Shin Godzilla ride where you can zip line down his mouth. And so that's a lot of fun. I'll have to do that next time in Japan. First, we get a shop there like everything. There's also these other things. They didn't have one going on when we got there, but they're called DNA exhibits, and they have, I've probably seen them on Facebook and whatnot and Twitter. They have like a designated creature. I think at this time, when they're doing Mechagodzilla right now, they'll have a lot of old props from Toho, posters, all kind of stuff. And they have those like 2 or 3 times a year over there. So if you can make it over there for one, I definitely say go, because they're really super good. Really, really enjoy it. And also the shopping, also went to, I guess it was like the Gundam place, which has a giant robot out front, and you can go in there and buy stuff, shop and everything, and buy videos, DVDs, Blu-rays, whatnot, and just whatever you want to get. Also, what's different in Japan than here, they have these chains of these, I guess for a better word, less word, I would call them like tech shops where you buy TVs, you know, players and cell phones and all that kind of jazz, right? Okay, you go in there, and they have all these little pegs set up everywhere, and you have all the Bandai Godzilla figures that were current at that time, or Ultraman Kaiju figures also. And so it's kind of cool. You go to this video shop like that, like a Best Buy, smaller enough, and you can buy all those Bandai figures. So it's just really freaking cool. They got so much cool stuff over there like that, which is just amazing for your first time out. And we also went to Wonderfest, which is a big deal in itself. I don't know, anybody been to Wonderfest Japan out there by chance? Okay, if you ever get a chance to go. Oh, back there? Excellent. Oh yeah, Norman and Lydia, they were there. I'm sorry, you guys sit down, I didn't see you. But yeah, they were both there, and it was huge. And they can tell you right now, I think that the day we went, there was like 70,000 people there, and it was important. It's like a sea of humanity. Basically what you did was, if you wanted to walk around and look at stuff because it's so jam-packed, you just kind of jumped in with a crowd of people, and it's kind of went on like salmon trying to swim straight to spawn, and it was kind of, everybody's just kind of carrying that one way. But a lot of stuff to buy there and a lot of stuff to see. It was insane. So we had a great time shopping at that. We were there all day. I mean, just trying to get around. So I had like 3 different really big warehouse rooms, much larger than the footprint of this hotel. They were big. Maybe each room was like about the size of that, but they were just monstrously huge. There's tons of stuff to buy in there. If you're ready to look a bunch of yen over there, you know, for Godzilla goodies, definitely worth going to Wonderfest. Plus, they have a lot of new stuff that hasn't come up yet, like those X Plus figures, like they got the Evangelion figures that are mixed with like the Godzilla DNA thing that are really super popular now. They had the prototypes of those being shown at that place at that time. Plus, they had the Kyoto maquette Shin Godzilla. They were showing the prototype of that one also. It's kind of neat to see that stuff. And they have tons of stuff, just not from Godzilla and Kaiju stuff. They have these big, huge big, huge figures you could go coming up the prototypes over there of all the DC characters, villains, Marvel characters, villains. Just a huge amount of stuff there, an amazingly huge amount of stuff. So it's just amazing. I've already had a chance to go back to Wonderfest. Yes, I will, because it's a lot of fun, that's for sure. Another fun thing over there too is if you've ever ridden one of their trains, like their J-Rail trains and stuff, you just jump on there, and the way it goes is, it reminds me, what it really reminds me of is like one of the older 60s Godzilla movies, you know, those are not that old, you know, when he would go stomping along in the 50s and smash a train, pick up one in his mouth like a 54 and drop it. That's what it reminded me of so much. It was so much fun to ride those things. But yeah, it's just a blast to go over there. There's so much stuff to do. Also, we went over to, sorry, throat strike. And we went also over to the Studio Ghibli place. I guess it's like a big anime place. And Norman and Lydia went with us too over there, the big our group of happy people. And anyway, we went and checked it out. It was really weird. It was like, inside it was like all these weird diagonal, and it was strange. Like you'd have a staircase over here, someone's going over here. It was really strange. It was like something out of a Hogwarts or some strange nightmare. I don't know, we couldn't pull together, but it was really cool. I enjoyed it. They were showing movies and stuff. You can buy like figures and books and videos and stuff there, so that was a lot of fun. We also went, besides going to Toho and taking a big tour there, we also got to see, over at Toho, they took us back around to one of the parking lots, and there was a huge mural of Mothra that covered the entire side of the studio. So they said, take pictures, but you can't show them until we say it's okay. So it was like about 6 months or so later that we got the okay to go and share them on Facebook and stuff, but it was really cool. So we got to see a lot of that behind the scenes stuff. Also, when we were there, we got to go to 2 really cool places. Number one, this was set up with Takarada himself. We got on a Japanese, basically a dinner boat, I would call it. And we went out to Tokyo Bay there, and we had this big 10-course Japanese meal served to us. And it was insanely cool. And you're out on the water, you go up underneath the bridge there, going to Yokohama. And it's just amazing, you know, like you think about Godzilla and all the other kaijus coming out of the ocean there, and you're out here eating, steak or chicken or something like that, you know, teriyaki, and you're thinking to yourself, man, this is wild, this is really so freaking cool. It's just a lot of fun. And we had a great time with that. Another place we went to, if you ever got a chance to go, is to go to it's by Ultraman monsters, and your waiters, different nights are different kaiju from Ultraman. The night we were there, it was Pigmon, he was our waiter, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it is just a blast, there's so much good stuff there. And we had a great Japanese meal there too, like a 7-courser, I believe, if memory serves correct. But it's just a great time, great experience. If you get a chance to go, and like I said, Shin Godzilla will always have a big special place in my heart because that was the first Godzilla film I saw ever in Japan. I don't really think I need to go over to Japan on the new one that's coming out, Godzilla -1, because they're going to be releasing that on December 1st here in the States. So, I mean, I love going to Japan. If I had a chance to live there, I would. I guess I'll be waiting here to see that with everybody else pretty much on December 1st, so that'll be cool. Let's see, what else? I'm trying not to leave anything out here that's exciting. Another thing was, too, is that everybody thinks that Godzilla and Shin Godzilla was completely CGI, and that's not true. They also made like a big animatronic from the waist up of the creature. They used that a lot when they were doing the scenes where they were putting the little fire hoses in his mouth and stuff. They used that a lot in there. Of course, some when he stood up and stuff, it wasn't, but a lot of that, they used it for that. It really helped out a lot to get the realism going in that kind of scene. And they used it for a few things in there. Mainly it was CGI, which was really cool to see that first time. I mean, I know we had it in 2014 with the first MonsterVerse Godzilla movie, which was cool. I really liked all the MonsterVerse stuff that's come out so far. So hopefully it'll continue to get bigger and better as it goes along, you know. I enjoy that myself. I know a lot of people don't like the MonsterVerse versus the original stuff, but a lot of people do. And so that's a good thing, you know, and everything. So I definitely enjoyed that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I forgot to cover here as far as being in Japan. I'm sure something else will pop into my head before you know it. But I'd like to take some questions from the audience if anybody has any thoughts or questions. Yes, Norman.
Made friends with this great man. So first of all,
thank you.
all on the G tour. All I'm going to say to you is, do not look at how much it costs, quote unquote.
Yes, yes.
Just go.
Just go. That's right.
Go. Do not think about that.
That's right.
We'll be able to do 50 years from now, or even 10. Now. Anyway. Items available that Kevin didn't mention. Liquor store down the street from Tokyo.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Godzilla liquor.
Yes.
But unfortunately, we couldn't do this. You couldn't exit out. We wanted to, but you couldn't take it home with you.
I guess we could have drank it there.
Well, exactly.
Everybody's all next day. Oh my God, man, it's time. Go got it.
Well, you see, Daikaiju standing outside the studio.
Yes, that's right. I forgot forgot about Gamera. We went to Catacomb, that's right.
And that which is just.
Oh, I know, that was wild.
But then the live Ultra Fest.
Oh yeah, the Ultra Fest, yes, I read about that. Yeah, thank you, Norman, I forgot about the Gamera. We went to Catacomb Studios one day, and it's really cool because they had these two huge dimensions right there, and of course we all took pictures with it and everything, so that was a lot of fun. Plus they had this window thing there. They had like some old Gamera props and some old, I guess, yokai props from some ghost films. And it was really funny because whenever we looked at it, and everything was kind of falling apart, and like the costumes were starting to rot. But they just threw them in there for like store decoration, I guess. They didn't have a store in there, so actual store. So we went in, and they only had like one guy working the counter, so they called this other guy in, and they were like sweating. They were trying to keep up with us. And we weren't that big a group. What do you think? We were like about 20 or less, 25 or less people, maybe something like that.
Man, they had to go get the guy to open the shop.
I know, man. It was crazy. Just about murder buying everything, you know. I still got my Gamera shirt, my Tofu shirt, and everything, so that's always a lot of fun. But yeah, it was crazy. And the Ultra Fest is a live show that they have out there. They do them several times a year, and it's really cool because it's kind of like almost an immersive environment. Of course, everything's going on at the front of things. So they have like different Ultraman and have Ultra Kaiju come out and they would fight them. But it was a lot of fun, and then sometimes they would come down the aisles. And so where you're sitting like, oh hey, what happened? There's Kaiju just ran past me, or an Ultraman. And some of those guys, the acrobatics they had, they were insane. They like blazing up there, and they would do flips and rolls and stuff you would expect like from one of those Hong Kong films where they do all the opera, like the Hong Kong opera. But Jackie Chan was a member there, and several other martial artists, Jet Li and whatnot. And they learned how to do all these wild and crazy tumbles and stunts and things, almost like Olympic level stuff. So those guys are really, really good at what they do. That's for sure. A blast. Any questions? Yes?
So did you perchance notice when you were in Japan, was there a general positive attitude by the Japanese public towards Shin Godzilla? Like here, if there's a movie that's extremely popular, everybody loves it, everybody's talking about it, and you know, it's everywhere and it's on everybody's tongue. Is that the same way with the Japanese, or even if something's very popular, do they seem to just be very conservative and, you know, close-lipped?
Well, it's kind of funny. I know they really liked it. It was very popular, but there was not a lot of outward showing of that, except the best way I can describe it is they saw it, they were happy they saw it, the people there that I saw. And mainly after that, they really started buying Bandai figures, shirts, and all kinds of stuff. So I guess they were expressing their love for it by seeing the movie several times and then buying a lot of the merch and everything. So that's the best way, because usually audiences in Japan, what I've noticed is they really don't stand up and yell and scream and yell like we do here in the States. And that's the way at concerts too. It's loosened up a little bit, like over the last 20 or 25 years, because used to, like, say, when Kiss would go play the Budokan back in the late 70s there, or the there, they would say that everybody would just like sit there and wait until the whole concert was over, then they'd jump up and yell and scream and clap their hands. And I've noticed on some of the feeds, like streaming feeds I've seen recently from Kiss in the last 5-10 years, that everybody's like yelling and screaming at it and stuff. Similar to what we do here. It's not as a great volume, but yeah, I know the Super overseas have made a ton of money here, and it get it all over where it was released at, and other parts of Asia, Europe, even the United States. In fact, what's funny is when they started showing it here in the States, I believe that was like in early October or late September. I haven't saw it again. Of course, it was like the sub version, just to check it out. What was funny was it was playing in a bunch of theaters, and it was making money. It was actually making money, almost making a profit. And they had to get rid of it because there were other films booked. Originally they was only supposed to be like 1 or 2 days. They extended it for a couple of weeks so they would make a lot of money here. And like I said, yeah, I had to go because they had to put in other films, other products. So if it could have stayed longer, it would have made much, much more money. So I know Toho was happy about that too. They're like, yes, you know, so that was a great thing. But yeah, I noticed a little bit of change and stuff. But I mean, there is a reverence still here, not to go too crazy, you know. But it's really cool though. Very, very cool. I'm enjoying how the things have changed a little bit. So it's a wonderful thing. Yes, back there.
So, upon first seeing like Godzilla's design in Shin Godzilla, what were your initial opinions on it?
Well, when I first saw it, the first photos I saw where somebody went on a tour in Toho, and they had their cell phone with them, and they took some pictures. They weren't supposed to take those. So Toho got really miffed after that because they got basically just a couple of the headshots. And I saw it and I said, wow, that was weird. But I said, you know what, I kind of like it because he's really mutated looking. He's got like teeth coming out over here, like an eyeball over here, and all kind of crazy looking stuff. I said, yeah, I like it. I said, I thought maybe I guess the bomb really mutated. And then when I found out the story behind it was where, you know, they had the Fukushima disaster with the nuclear plant. And that was supposed to, with other work, the gentleman working on the sea life, you know. I thought, well, it's still radiation, but yeah, I said, yeah, that was really mutated and cool looking. I really like that look. And then when I saw the full Godzilla, I said, oh man, this is really freaking cool. I like this because they differentiate themselves so much from what came before and so much what even came after. It was a completely standalone Godzilla. I mean, he was huge, and he glowed inside, you know, from the fire, from the radiation kind of thing. So yeah, I gotta say, sign me up. I really enjoyed the look of it and stuff. And a lot of other people did too. Talking to folks in Japan, they liked it themselves also. Mainly at the Wonderfest, I was talking to people, and also talking to them like at the Mandarakis, for the people that spoke English and stuff I was able to converse with. So yeah, they seemed to really like it a lot. I was wearing a point here, when we went to Wonderfest, I was wearing a GMK shirt, and one of the guys working at one of the booths there, I bought some stuff from, he's like, hey, he goes, GMK, and I said, yeah. And I said, yeah, yes indeed. He goes, I love it. And I said, yeah. I said, a lot of people in America love that movie too. I said, Japan's not alone. I said, a lot of people there love it and everything. So that was happy. That's for sure. Oh, and one other thing I was going to hit you guys with before I go back to questions. Almost forgot. When at Wonderfest, I got to meet one of my heroes of kaiju stuff. Mr. Yuji Sakai, who does the most insanely beautiful Godzilla sculptures you've ever seen. He's done tons of model kits. He's even done some vinyl high-end toys and things like that. Of course, he does, you know, the SA's Monster series, Monster Art series. He does a lot of stuff. He used to do a lot of stuff with Bandai. He does a lot of stuff still with X Plus. And so I could actually meet him, take some photos, shake his hand. I was like, yeah, this is awesome, you know, kind of thing. So you get to meet people like that. You know, you're not going to meet them like in, you know, Burbank or something like that, or, you know, whatever. But anyway, maybe the big con, if he's come to be able to come over and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to go back to questions. I saw some arms up there. You, sir.
Yes, sir. Is there going to be a detour for the 75th anniversary in 29?
You know, I haven't heard anything as of yet. I'm thinking though, see, they were originally trying to do it the last few years, 20, 21, 22 got canceled, of course. It kind of depends on the situation in Japan, so hopefully if any information comes out on that, it's going to come out around the first of the year or pretty close to that, because usually by the time May gets here, that's when you need to send in your final deposits and stuff to book your passage and whatnot, you might say, on the tour itself. And if say you did want to go, the travel agency that we used, they were really nice. If you needed help booking your flights and stuff, they were really good. They hooked me up with a really reasonably priced flight to and from Tokyo, so I was very happy about that. But yeah, just keep looking at GFAT magazine. Of course, they don't look online and stuff, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they would be, but I'm just not 100% sure yet, you know, what's going to go down, because I know the 70th anniversary is going to be huge over there. You're going to have all kinds of cool stuff going on. Exhibits, exhibitions, of course, the new film in the theaters, and lots of toys, stickers, t-shirts, posters, and all that kind of good jazz, too. Also, one thing that's cool there when we were at Shin Godzilla was, we went to this one thing where it was like you fought Godzilla. It was like a video game, kind of like a giant thing, and you fought Godzilla. And anyway, that was kind of cool, but I got chewed out of the ear, shot out of the ear by his planes, but anyway, that's okay. It was still fun. And they had like these little restaurants there, and they would have like these little craftsmen that would make like these little pastries and stuff, and they would look just like Mothra or Godzilla or something like that. They had like several of those things there, little dinners and stuff, and they were a lot of fun. We tried a few of them and stuff, and you know, these taste pretty good. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mothra, for giving up a couple of barbers there. That was great, you know, kind of thing. But it was a lot of fun to eat and stuff. Something else you couldn't find anywhere else, that's for sure. Yes, sir?
I just want to,
Oh.
one of the things that's hard to explain to you, actually in Tokyo like we were, is just how big Godzilla really is.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like you look all these action people and all
Yes.
There's Godzilla's 3 pluses. There was a Godzilla hit coming out of the side of a department store.
That's right, I forgot about that one, yes.
It was everywhere.
It's all over.
It's statues. It's
Yes.
everywhere. Also, he's an official citizen of the city of Tokyo.
That's right. He's no longer an illegal, getting into Tokyo, that's for sure.
You can't go anywhere in Tokyo without
Yeah.
encountering someone.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right, Norman. Yeah,
It's
it's,
more the bridge away in G54.
oh yeah.
They actually, the bridge isn't there anymore, but they put a placard up.
Yes, the showing where it was aired for that. Yeah, Godzilla tore this up in 54 and hurled it at,
So they're totally invested in the history of
Mhm.
him. Now, if you go to Tokyo, you can't miss his stuff.
oh yeah, not at all. Yeah, and especially now, as this toe kind of started getting to realize that people all around the world really do love Godzilla and they're not going to be laughing and snickering at it, and they also found out that they can sell a whole lot of merchandise. That's the main thing. It's like ka-ching, ka-ching. So now it's like super big business. And in Japan, they really push it a lot. It's really pushed a lot. Everybody knows basically what's going on. It's just like Norman, I said, it's just one big event, basically. And it is a lot of fun to go and do that kind of stuff there. You have a blasting good time, that's for sure. And anybody else? I saw a couple of hands there. Somebody. Oh, right over here. Yes. How you doing there? Stay on up there. Come on in.
What do you think of Shin Godzilla's second, third, and fifth forms?
I liked them myself. They were kind of creepy looking. The first thing there was the big tadpole with the fin was just kind of there. The second form, when I first saw it, I said, "Oh man, it's like some kind of cartoon Godzilla. What is this?" I wasn't sure about it, but the more I kept watching it, and I said, "Oh, he's just smashing all these cars and crushing all this stuff." I said, "Yeah, he's kind of funny looking, but he is pretty tough too. He's pretty cool." So I grew to like him. The third form I liked because I thought that was the first time it really started taking on some of Godzilla's attributes. It kind of reminded me in a way, not exactly the way it looks, but its mannerisms and stuff when it first came out, when he first changed into it, reminded me a whole lot of the '54 Godzilla, the way he was yelling and screaming and his mannerisms and stuff. And it was totally cool. But then, of course, the fourth form, that's one of everything I myself and everyone likes the best. But I like them all myself. It's just a good evolution of how the creature became to be. That's for sure. Very, very fun times. And oh yes, over here.
Speaking of the second form of Shin Godzilla, that's something I remember around when that movie came out. And it seems to be the case in Japan as well. That second form got really people made a lot of jokes about it, but it also got a lot of merch.
Oh yes. Also, the other thing about it too was that it became like a lot of young ladies in Japan really liked the second form. They were buying my shoes and slippers and bandanas and just all kinds of stuff. They were just going crazy with it and just having a great time. Also, I think there was I know there were like slippers and there were like little hats and stuff and just everything. I mean, it was just amazing how the second form took off. It was just, in Japan especially. Yes?
So, talking about the G Tour, how much did that cost?
I believe when we went back in 2016, basically the setup and everything for the travel agency was, I think about, oh God, I'm trying to remember, I think it was like $2,600 or $2,800. And it sounds like a lot of money, but when you think about it, you're getting all of your hotel taken care of. You get transportation, a nice air-conditioned travel bus, which is really nice. And you don't have to worry about parking or anything like that. And they take you to where all the events are going to be, so that's really cool. Plus a lot of other stuff, extra tickets. Like when we went to the Wonderfest or any of the other things we did there, we didn't have to pay for anything. We didn't have to pay for getting to see the movie. That was all covered. So that all kind of piles in. Plus, what's cool at the Godzilla Hotel there is they have two places. One's downstairs and one's upstairs with a bar. And you get complimentary, all-you-can-eat breakfast every day you're there. We stayed there the whole time. But so we were down there pounding a lot of food, down there in the food place. And they have really good food. They have some Asian dishes. They have some Americanized dishes. And but all in all, it was fantastic cheddar. Plus, they had really the best tasting, as far as fruit went there, that I've ever had were the blood oranges. And they were fantastic tasting. Or yes, you could go on also set some orange. And they were fantastic. But yeah, the food over there was awesome. That includes all of that stuff. So you don't have to worry about anything. Now, of course, you were left on your own device for dinner. So what we do is a bunch of us kind of get together and go stomping around and find restaurants and stuff and decide what to eat for that day. sometimes when we eat lunch or whatever, however we happen to be out, someplace like that, we just go chow down there. So it was a lot of fun, but yeah, having a base like that, you don't really have to worry about anything. You just go buy what you want to buy and have a good time. And yeah, just have a blast. That's basically it. Yeah, so everything's all inclusive, pretty much taken care of. The only thing you really got to pay for the thing, the trip itself, is buying your airfare. And they, like I said, they helped me with that easily. So they gave me a good flight. So we want to talk to them as soon as the stuff started popping up. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's all inclusive. It's definitely worth it. Anytime, for sure.
How long did that last for?
Oh, ours was like about 11 or 12 days, I think. Okay. So it was a good substantial stay time and stuff. So, and when came time to go, I was like, I don't want to leave, man. This is great. This is awesome. I gotta go back to work. Okay. And yes, again, back there. Yes, sir. Oh, in the front. Yes.
How expensive is sake?
I'm sorry.
How expensive is the sake out there?
It's actually, it is expensive. It depends on what you're getting, like an aged sake or like a normal sake. I didn't really pound any myself, but I know it's more expensive. Norman, did you have some sake?
There's this thing that our guide took us to. It's a bar street.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the bar street. Yes.
So it's a block long, and it's kind of a winding downhill.
Yes.
Some of the bars only have like 4 seats in them. You go in there and you party up.
Yes.
By the way, you should plan on being able to go home on the downhill side, but it's easier to roll down.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Or a garden street that goes down the hill. But like I said, some seat like maybe a dozen people. But
yes.
Some only had 4 seats in them.
Yep.
So like the person serving you your sake is opposed to you and I am her.
Right, exactly.
You can find your price.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the A stuff like that guy's there.
Yep.
You want to just like roll down the hill.
Yes.
Get that too. But there's a whole street. It's unbelievable. I've never seen it in one.
Yeah, me too. And some of them had like a little grill stove in there. They could cook up some snacks for you too. Like a chicken on a stick or whatever, or fish on a stick. It was cool stuff. Yes, sir, back there. Oh no, that's. Oh, I thought the guy in the hat had one in front of Lydia there. Did you have one, sir?
I was just going to say, don't forget our great tour guides.
Oh, yes. Which are still Facebook friends with today. Hide-san. At first we were calling him Guy-san, but I want to include his name in there, so I started calling him Hide-san. It's kind of a short thing. He was fantastic. He, on the bus tour when we were driving to places, so we would get bored and we were looking out the window and stuff, he would start playing DVDs of Godzilla films. We watched, one of the particular I remember, we watched Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, and they had the decisive battle where they smashed the Tokyo Tax Tower. So we were going over there to see it, and he put that on so we could watch that on the way over and on the way back. And he was fantastic. He had a great sense of humor, really cheery, upbeat guy, and he would, gosh, it was just a fun. And do you guys, normally, you really didn't remember the name of the guy that organized the trip for us? His name escapes me at the present time, but... Well, he did was the guy. And I forgot the other guy's name. Yeah, well, he was awesome. Yeah, they were fantastic. And the guys who put that tour together for us, they are really super good. So if you don't want to go on a trip to Japan or something like that, I think it was what, Kale Enterprises or something like that, I think.
No one got lost. And we heard everyone was broken.
Yeah, we were like, yeah.
We're never late.
Exactly. The only ones who were late, remember, was that one guy and his girlfriend, and they got lost, buying stuff.
No, they didn't get lost. They just got lost.
They got lost on purpose, got lost, yes. But yeah, it was a fantastic thing, and I think the thing about Shin Godzilla was, that I always remember was, it was like this big unstoppable force. Man screwed around and screwed up with nature again, and so there it was, and it wasn't taking over an answer. I guess the ending where they froze him up or whatever, they kind of like that ambiguously, because all that would happen was they want to make a series, the second one. I guess they haven't really thought about it right now. They're kind of going to go see how Godzilla -1 goes. And have you guys seen the photos of that Godzilla? Yeah. I like it. I think it looks good. It looks really cool. It looks like Godzilla's Ride, which is a place I want to check out the next time I'm in Japan. I want to see that because at the Godzilla store now, I think they're going to change either. I think the one where you zip line down Godzilla's mouth, I heard they're going to paint it over so it's not just a regular Shin Godzilla look. It's going to be purple like when he was blowing out his little fire and stuff, his little laser beam. That's what I heard, so I had to wait and see on that one. But I don't care whatever color it is, I'm just still zip line down his throat. That's going to be awesome. What a way to have fun. That's for sure. Any more questions out there, guys? By chance? Oh, right over here. Yes, go ahead.
What was your favorite Shin Godzilla?
Like the favorite versions of it, the different versions? I liked the number 4, the final version myself the best, because he just looked completely evil. I really did enjoy him, so definitely go with that. Yeah, definitely the 4th version, because nothing seemed to stop him or even hurt him or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, whatever. I mean, the way he walked, a lot of people say, why can't he's like stuck like this all the time? He's just like walking along. The intent of the directors and the writers and the producers at that time was to create basically a moving mountain of destruction. That's why he was like that. That's why he was so huge and just kind of came in. And if you think about that, like it that way, and you watch it, you're like, oh yeah, that would be scary as heck. It's like this gargantuan mountain's coming at you, and all you can do is run and don't get out of the way in time. That's for sure. But definitely the 4th form was my favorite version of it. Yes, way down there.
Just wondering, at the end of the film, it seems like there are humans or something in Godzilla.
Oh yeah, the best thing. Yeah, the best thing I've heard about that, like explanation-wise myself, is that was maybe the guy, the scientist, who was first studying the situation, the phenomenon. He, his yacht was, of course, abandoned. Maybe that was DNA resurrected as those human-type Shin figures, using his DNA blueprint. So that would be cool. That would be great. Something great they might want to explore in the sequel if they did. That could be really cool. Whether they stay somewhat human-sized, basically, or if they grew to giant size, sort of like the Attack on Titan guys, the total clip. And either one would be cool, I think, very much so. Either one. Yes, right there.
I thought that the reason that the small humanoid creatures that were growing on the Shin Godzilla scale
Right.
was so it could adapt better to face humanity.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Y'all kind of used the DNA blueprint from the guy, the original scientist guy that was doing all the research. That's what I'm thinking too. So it just kind of made it with that. So hopefully they'll do a sequel one day. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't yet, but I know the other guys have been like Daikaiju. He's been doing so many other projects right now. So, and I know he's been busy with all of his stuff. So maybe they'll be able to get together and do one more before it, gets too far into the future where people start kind of forgetting about it a little bit, especially the Japanese audience. Although I don't know if they ever will, that's for sure. Yes, Robert, sir.
So, I'm assuming since the main 4, like in the Shin series, since those are done, I have a feeling that now they're going to be making sequels to the Shin movies, if at all.
I think so too. At least I hope so, because they left so many unanswered questions at the end of it. It's like, what'll happen next? And they had some cool characters in there. I like the Japanese American girl that was like involved in politics and defense force and everything. So that was cool. And other stuff in there was great too. But yeah, I really do think they will also. And I'm sure they're going to play off the thing with the little humanoid Shin Godzilla people, on his tail. I'm not sure how they're going to use it, but it could be really, really cool if they do it right. That's for sure. Have them come to life and start whacking people or whatever they're going to do. It would be a lot of fun. Any more questions, guys, out there by chance? Yes?
Any news on any 4K releases for the XVIII film?
The 4K release of Shin Godzilla?
No, on the XVIII show.
Oh, not yet. The only thing I know is released in 4K right now, talking to August Bergoni, and I got a copy of it too, is the King Kong versus Godzilla from '63. Yeah, that's it. Or 62. No, 62. Yeah, 62. Sorry. That's the only thing that's in 4K right now. They've done 4K transfers of like almost all of the Showa films already, and they show them on TV in Japan so far as event type things, and a few times in some theaters, select theaters there. But They haven't done a home video release yet of them, but just keep reading G-Fan magazine and things like that. Stay on Facebook, that kind of stuff, or Twitter, because when that stuff starts popping up, it'll definitely be on there. Everybody will be talking about it. Yeah, more 4K. And the 4K is cool. I really like it. I have a 4K TV, and I was waiting until I got to need that disc, the 4K disc of that, to see what happens. And I was glad I waited because it was so insanely cool. I really enjoyed it. Everything was wonderful. Also, one of the scenes in there, which they cut out, which I thought looked really cool. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this or not, but when he was using his short little spewy breath, and also coming out of his tail, and his tail a little breath or beam or whatever's coming out of his tail. There was a scene they filmed partially of the animation, the CGI animation, where he jumped in the air and did like a ballerina spin up in time and was blasting away with it. It was never ever completely used, but I thought, man, that'd be kind of cool, maybe blow a few planes out of the air with it or something. That would be pretty sweet, but that was one of the things they never did use and everything, unfortunately. Let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't want to leave anything out. Any more questions, guys, I can answer out there by chance? Oh, right here, yes.
If you had to choose, would you rather see a sequel to Shin Godzilla or a whole new Godzilla movie?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. Right now, since I know the other guys are like, the production crew that are like tied up in other projects right now, I'm gonna have to go with the new film as of right now. Myself, I would rather see a sequel to that, but I just gotta let the situation and what's involved and everything dictate what goes on. So yeah, I'm all down for the new Godzilla. I mean, I know it looks like the Godzilla ride figure quite a bit, but I like the little things they changed on it. So, and besides, I really like the Godzilla the ride version. I really like it myself. A lot of people hate it, but I like it myself. Yes.
Who do you think would win in a fight, Shin or Legendary?
Woo! Let me think. Man, that's kind of a toughie. Let me think on that for just a moment. Probably, man, it's tough because both of them are different. Let's see. I don't know. Well, that's tough. Maybe Shin. I'm just thinking maybe Shin, but I guess if Legendary Godzilla has Kong with him, he could like bail his butt out like he did with Mega Godzilla last time. He could maybe help him out and knock around Shin, but Shin is just a completely different creature. They're basically two different creatures, that's for sure. But probably, I'm gonna say probably Shin, just going for it and everything. Yes.
When you were in Japan, was it pretty friendly to like people?
Oh yeah, I had no problems whatsoever with any bias or anything like that. The only thing is like I've heard from people, and we didn't really do this, but if you go farther out of Tokyo to some of the smaller towns and things, they said you do get a tiny bit of resentment from like the older population. But none of us encountered any kind of racism or intolerance or anything like that in Tokyo. There's just so many people there from all over the world. It's truly a global city, global community there. It very much is. And so yeah, nothing that we encountered, nothing. We were there for almost 2 weeks. We had no problem at all. And any more questions? Oh, there, yes.
Do you ever think they're gonna release Shin Godzilla's first form?
You mean on the little thing? Actually, glad you brought that up. Down in the basement area here, there's that big 7-foot tall Godzilla 2019. You guys have probably seen that big statue. Around the corner there, the Omega Beast series stuff, which I'm a big collector of. I buy almost everything they have. They're making 2 more forms of fourth form. They're doing second and third, and they're doing the first form. And so it's like a figure. All there is of it's like a tadpole. Basically, it's just the tail and the little body thing stuck in the water. So, but that's one of the first ones I've seen. There was one done by Bandai, I do believe, like maybe a high grader or something. But I'm trying to remember if they did do something like that. But I think this is like the biggest first large-scale figure, you might say. But yeah, there it is. If you get a chance, go down and check it out because it's really cool. All their stuff's really super cool. And let's see, probably about 1 or 2 more questions. Anybody has anything? Want to find out about Japan or Shin? Yes, back there.
Do you believe that Shin Godzilla would have, if they could freeze him, do you think he would have evolved into a 5th, 6th, or possibly 7th form?
is definitely a possibility because he would have kept on going with the radiation, you know, so he could change his form. That's one of the things I think, kind of like an unspoken thing that Toho did, because, you know, most all the suits in the movies look a little different. That was kind of like the thing is he kept mutating all through the Showa series, Issei series, he kept mutating. And same thing in the Millennium series. Except that the first 3 films, of course, in that were standalone movies. And, but he did change from like the Godzilla, Mecha Godzilla films, those 2, Tokyo SOS to Final Wars, which is a different looking Godzilla. But yeah, I'm sure he'll keep on mutating. Who knows what he'll mutate into, but it could be really cool, that's for sure. That is for sure. Any more questions, anyone? Oh, yes, there's another back there, yes.
Do you believe it could be possible that eventually Shin Godzilla could have absorbed enough radiation and proceeded to give out enough radiation that just being near him could have been harmful?
Possible. That is possible. One thing about radiation, you know, from what I've seen, you really don't know what's going to happen to it or how it's going to affect stuff, especially living organisms. You just do not know what's going to happen. That's like a lot of people, you know, when they go, they get radiation treatment and stuff like that, they have no idea how it's going to affect their body. They just want to, you know, see what they can do with it and stuff. So basically like that. But yeah, it's hard to say because it is such a new frontier in a way you might say. No, it's being used for energy and stuff in medical professional fields and stuff. But yeah, when it's introduced into living organism, you have no idea what you're going to get. That's for sure. I guess we got time for one more question, guys. Yes.
What was your favorite scene in Shin?
Myself would be, it's got to be when he first came out of the bay and they were playing the Ikukuba music and he came in before the night raid, when he came in and just started smashing everything up. That was my favorite scene. Although I do like the night battle too. That was cool, but I like that one where they did the that first initial thing because it was the first time you got to see the big 4th form. I was just like, wow, that is so freaking cool. You know, there he is. He's just huge. And it's, every time you step, everything would shake. Shingles would fall off the top of the buildings and stuff like that. I said, man, this is totally freaking cool. This is so awesome. But yeah, most of it, that was my favorite shot in the film. That area there and everything. And guys, I guess they'll be bringing in the new folks here pretty quick. Oh, yes.
Since this is, we're all family here, if you see any of us wandering around during the G-Fest, feel free to stop.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
About the G-Tour, because I'm not shilling for JD on this, but I really think all of you really want to go.
Yeah, I think do it.
Well, you should, so stop us and talk to us about it if you want to.
And you don't have to know how to speak Japanese.
No, not at all.
All the signs are Japanese.
Uh-huh.
And all the people are so humble, they don't understand something, they don't.
Yeah, and you can use your phones now to talk back and forth with each other. Yep, exactly.
Currency is in hundreds.
Yes.
So 100 yen is a buck.
That's right. Or 75 cents now because of the exchange rate, you know. That's for sure. Well, folks, everybody, thank you for coming.